All right, so let's move on now. Okay, let's go and check if the button got added. Yes, the button got added over here as create. Cool. Now let's go to, for that, when we go for a create, then it should come up with a new page over here with a form and labels and inputs. So for me, the labels would be the customer ID, customer name, currency, date of join. Okay, where customer ID is the key. So I'm going to use required equals true. That's a mandatory thing that you have to put. All right, so let's create a new view over here that we will call as create view. So come to the new file over here and say it as create view, and be careful when you write the names over here. Otherwise, you know, there would be a mismatch between the names. Okay, so this is what it is, and I'm just gonna move away from it, and it will just create a view. And also at the controller with the same name, new file at the controller, and call that as with the same name, create view dot controller.js. So create view controller.js. Right. So now we have both the views over here. Let's go into the, uh, let's take any view. Any view would do our job. So let's take the customer view, do a control A, control C, and come to the create view and paste it. And let's come to the top. We don't need any table. So from table to table, remove the things. Okay. So now we don't need table. So what we have is one, and we don't need any button. Of course, we need a button over here, and the page would be ID ID um ID create ID create ID create create, and I'll say page. So so that it should not conflict with the ID that we're going to make at the manifest level. So which is why I put an ID page over here. That means I'm doing it for the page control ID page. And the title over here is already the title, and I'll just pass it as uh, title create, title create. And I'll just take the title create and go to the I18N properties. And where do you have the titles? So here we have, so I'm just going to come and say create title, and it would be my um, create view. It would just be create something. Create, CREATE. Is it create? Oh, what's the spelling for create? Sometimes, you become too overconscious about things, and, you end up, overthinking. Okay, so let's go to, so I just added a title over there, my create view, and let's come to the top, create view, here, create view controller. Okay, I was here. So the controller name is create view. So it would be create view, and I don't think any more changes are required in it. So yes, I just, beforehand made the button. on create. So it would be like on submit should be there on submit. So let's see if we really get the things. It's at the bottom. For now, let be at the bottom, no problem. We'll, if you want to take it at the top, we can. So let me just come and it won't come up unless we have the controller ready for it. So we need to just go into, so let me remove create view from here and, and yes, this also. And I'll go to the controller now. Create view controller. Let's take any controller like this, like customer V27. So let me just do a control A and done it and come to this controller and paste it. So you see everything looks pretty much the same, except that you need to make a change over here. That's called as a create view and and be watchful when you make these changes, especially with the spelling of these things. Otherwise, you will run into an error and for no reason, will be in problem. Okay, so let's check now whether we we're getting the things now. Yes, you see there is a table with a create button, and this create button should take me to the next view. Okay, that's called the create view. So for that, these routing stuff are taken care of by the thing that's called as manifest.json. So very quickly, we'll come to the route section over here. The route section, you see, I am into the route section now. I'll just copy this page. Inside the routes, there is one. It's an array, so I'm just going to copy it. How do you do that? You put a comma and paste it. And now let's call them as route um, route create view, route create view, and the pattern over here would be just say create. Right now, create. Okay, create pattern, and the target would be the that we have to make right now. But let me just make it as route create view. So target create view. So these the name of this thing and the target you can name anything of your choice, no problem. Okay. Now I'm going to copy this. Rather, I'm going to copy the whole quotation also with it. Target create view. Come to the target section. In the targets, you need to see this is the first target that you see. Be careful of the curly braces. Put a comma. Come over here and put your target name with this colon and the just hit enter and just come over here and just um, say the ID of the view ID. View I. Why is it showing an error? I'm saying view property. Okay, no problem. View ID would be ID create view, ID create. So no problem over here and pass the view name. Let me just take the view name from here, view name, and come over here and paste it, and then colon and this thing. So once you provide the view name, and you should be very particular about it, and it's called as the create view. Yeah, so it's a control ID. It's a control ID. There's a difference between the view ID and the control ID. View name is you if you want to, you can just delete that thing from there. View name, it's called as create view. Create view, okay? So let me just save it and address your question first. So if you come to this, we have just made it, and everything you can see the target create view is there, target create view with the pattern create and route create view, and we have just made this thing over there. All right, so just we don't have to save it, just run it. And let's come to the part that you were talking about in the create view. Let's, this is what you're talking about, right? ID create page. So this is the ID of the page. Whenever you want to get the page, you can just remove it if you don't want it over here. It's the page ID, not the view ID. Okay. So it's a control ID. So there's a, if you want to remove, nothing's going to happen. Still, you would be seeing the things the way it is. But now one more thing has come, like once we hit on this create function, then it's going to take me to the next page. So in order to write the the logic for on press, we need to come to. I don't want to make any changes the way it was. I just want to keep it like that for now. So it says there are three problems in it, and of course there are problems with the ID that we have not passed over here. And uh, just one more thing. Let me just come to the manifest section, and in that there is a thing called as flex. Let me just go to Control F and say flex enabled. I'll just come over here and I'll make it false. I'll just hit false. So it will stop looking for the IDs. So done it. Flex enable in the SAP UI5 section. Flex enabled false. So now, yes, I can just go away from here. It shows 5 problems in this file. Let me just go ahead and see what problems are there. No problem. Let's refresh the page now and come to the controller level on the create view. Nope, on the customer view controller. This is where we're going to write the logic for. So keep spaces between last two brackets. Okay, these two brackets. Okay, it should be separate from what you're writing over here. And now you can say on create. I'm just typing it because I remember it's on create. And I'll say function, and then curly braces. This is how you write a function. And we can say that uh, we can you can say let's make an app controller as well. So this thing that's called as the base controller you should be having in your project. So just a reminder, I should always keep that thing. I'll just go hit new file and I'll make a base controller. .js. Okay, so yes, the base controller.js is there. And let me just uh, put the code for it. And let me just do a Control A, Control C, go to the base. I just took any random controller, and now I'll just make that as a. This is our base controller, and it should be pointing to the base controller now. What's the name? It's so I'm transferring the power of the supercontroller to my own controller, that's base controller. Okay, that is what I did in this case and nothing else. So that's it. And I'll say get router from here. How do you get a router? So function, pass it, pass it, pass it, and say return this dot um, get owner component. This dot get owner component dot get router. This is what I'm returning. And now I'm going to use this get router over there in my controller. That's called as the create view. So right? So yes, uh, in the customer view rather, okay? So here I'm going to call it as var o router. So I'm going just going to paste this thing. Oh no, this dot was the name? Get router, I suppose. I think that's get router, and that's it. Actually, I've written over here, if you're getting confused, what I've written over here, if there wasn't any base controller, so in actuality, I've written this dot get owner component dot get router, but I just passed this thing over here, this dot get owner component or get router, and instead I'm calling this get router. So it is calling this thing. Okay, so nothing. But you know that in order to work on your uh, customer view, you need to put that as a module and put a comma over here and just pass this and say the address that's base controller, and done it. So this is what it should get me. And how we will know that's working, we'll just go into the debugging mode and check whether it's working or not. So once we get the router, we say o router dot nav2, 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 and we need to know the route name for this navigation. Come to the section that's called as the route create view. I'm just going to copy it and come to this part and just say, okay, this is what I'm doing. I'm just going to the next view on the press of this button that was made over there. And it seems, oh no, so this is fine now. Let me just pause the video for now. And how do you pause it? Okay, coming back over here with the with this thing after so many changes, let's see if we can just go over there to the next view that we call as create view. So you see the create view is coming with nothing in it, but here we want to post data, so we need a form with all the credentials that we want to put. So let's go into now. Where are we supposed to write the codes for the form? So we need to go to the create view, of course, the create view. And here we already have this thing that's the footer. And here we're going to put the thing that's called a simple form. So the moment you put simple form, it has to get the library first. So we'll just do XML and S, and I'll just say shortcut for it is F, and that means a form, or SF, or simple form, whichever you think is good for you. Just put equals over there and quotation and say SAP dot UI dot layout dot form, and come over here and say F, and then now say simple. You see the help is there, simple form. We have got it in it, and just make some room for it. Come over here, one tab, okay, and let's say make a label over there, and it's since it's coming from the library that's coming from the library M, so we don't have to pass any namespace before it. So we'll just say the first thing is the ID, and it should of course come from the I18N file. Okay, so now we have got labels. So I need 4 labels over here, so I'll just go and paste it. 4 labels, and then let me just remove these 4 labels for now, and I'll do one input, and then I'll paste it INPUT input, and then mm, you need to just end it input, and that's okay. And this should be empty, and I need to pass the ID for it, and I'll say the ID is ID. What's the thing here? Create ID create. No, ID CR. So by this, because we'll be having more forms in it, with more input fields. So this ID is about the ID that we want to put in it. And CR means create. So it tells me this is the ID that's there in the create view. So just I just put suffixed it with CR. Okay, now we can have four of it. No problem. Come over there. Uh, 2, 3, 4. So I have got four sets of it. So just to have a this now a clear cut and no distinction between all the three, all the four. Now I'm going to pass the just the IDs there. Now this one is the name, so customer name. So I'm just passing the name over there, or you can just pass customer name rather. So in your case, it would be whatever the thing, the right name of the field is. You need to pass it over there, customer name. If you have got more fields, no problem, just pass it, customer name, and then we have got the currency, and then in the input we have got the thing that's called as the date of join, and the type of input field is date. Type equals date. Right now we'll just, I think there's a problem with it, so make it capital. And also now come and change the ID and place it with the appropriate like name, and this ID would be like currency. Cur means currency, and this would be the date of join. So capital DJ, that means date of join. And now my thing is ready. So just a bird's eye view of the whole thing that we did. I created a simple form. Inside the simple form, I have four fields in it and four input fields. And then we have got the ID, customer name, currency, and date of join. At the bottom, I have got a on submit button. So I just want this thing to come to the top rather than putting it at the bottom inside the simple form. And this is my button. I just brought it from the footer and inside it and put that inside the simple form. And now I'm going to also pass it the I just forgot what I was supposed to do with the button. Okay, the pixels of it. So the width equals width equals please mute happening. The width equals 80 pixels. Now let's see if the things have really taken shape now. You see that now we have got a create button and with these fields, and uh, it's giving me the date with a type date applied to this input field. And there is another property at the simple form level that's called as editable equals true, so that it should align the text, the label, and the input field accordingly. They should be aligned in one line. And there is another thing that's called as, I think it's for the at the label level, it is required. Required equals true. So I've just passed in two things, editable and required, and just to see whether they have really changed the UI. So then I'll tell you, see, at the ID, there is an asterisk that's been brought in it. And also the alignment of ID and the input fields are really good now. So yeah, and then at the end there is a create. So this could also be placed at the bottom at the footer level. So I think it should be over here, and yeah, this re looks really cool. So no problem. Okay, now let's go ahead and write the what do we want to do. The thing is that whatever I type inside it, let's say I type 31, and a customer name should be um, Arun. And I think I deleted a rule, so I need to just check on whether it's there or not. So we can just update it if all we have it. Okay. So Arun, and currency is the USD, and so these are the things. And the date is, let's say today's date. Okay, just hit on 17, and you will get something like this. All right. So this is what the status is right now. So this is my payload that we need to grab at the controller level, and then do the same operations that I told you that we had to. Okay, so yes, let's move ahead. And right now, on press of create, this create, okay, it should do the creation, right? So where should I be writing the code for it then? At what controller shall I be writing the code? Huh? We have to write the code at the create B controller, of course. So let's go to the create B controller and see if this create button is working or not. So for that, let me just come to I don't need manifest, so I just remove it. Customer view controller also, let me see if there are anything. I don't need it. And then there is a uh, create view, and then name of the thing is on submit. I need to just copy it, double clicking on it. You don't need the base controller also, we remove it. Let's come to the create view controller, and you have to come to the top over here, double click on it, put a comma, make some space, and just do a tab and write a create view. I'm sorry, the on submit is going to create. And here we write the function, a function, and the function and this thing. And yes, let me just bring this particular thing a bit to the bottom so that we should not end up writing codes at a wrong place. So let's now talk about the steps that we have to do. First step, if you have forgotten, first step is get the model. Okay, so of course you know how to get the model. And then the second step, we need the entity. And the third step is method. So you see, just three simple steps that you're going to perform, all right? And you'd be able to create it. And inside the method, we need to pass a couple of things like the entity, and if at all we have got a payload, so we need to pass the payload and the curly brace. Inside the curly brace, we have got two things. Those are called as success and error. So inside this, we have got two things that's called success and error. So it's a very three steps process. That is what you have to do. But for some reason, to make the payload, you have to make some codes over here. That makes the code although look very big, but if the simple understanding is there isn't any problem. And in order to just do the create, we don't need any ID and anything, right? You just need the entity set name, and you just do a post operation in it, and the things create, right? Right? You have done those create operations. Okay, so the first step is get the model. So of course we will get the model. So let's first get the payload ready. Okay, so keep these steps in mind, and you will see we'll just hover around these things. So since we want the payload, so I'm creating a payload over here, and then you can use this payload over there. So let's say, so what is the payload? Exactly, the payload is this thing. Let me just come to this place and tell you. This is the thing that is the payload, okay? So let's say the ID is 31 and the name is Arun and the currency is INR and the date is the current date. Let me just get the date. Okay, 17. All right, so this is the payload. This is what I'm going to capture it. Can you tell me how you can capture these things? How can you get all these? Oh no, we are not into those things. Values. So what is the thing that say the complete thing so that we can get the value? So we just got the IDs for objects for all these input fields. You can see the four of them on there. Sorry, uh, the four of those. And now we'll get the value for each of it. So objects of the input fields first, and now values for all the fields. So we'll say, I'm sorry, you see, I've used var, copy, paste, paste, and paste. And now I'll get the mm, let sid, that's the string that I'm getting. So I'll just pass it away, control C, control V, dot value, sorry, dot get value, and just pass it. Let me just paste all of it 4 times. 4 times I pasted it. And now I'm just going to replace things accordingly. Oh, name, oh, currency, oh, date. All right, so here's a problem. All right, and now I'll just make it as name and then I'll say as value, as currency, and I'll call the as date as date. Having done that, we will proceed to the other part. We have got four of it. Now, as you know, the in my data type, the ID is in the integer form, and it might be different for you. So I need to exactly get the right ID for me. I'll say SID equals sorry, just reassigning some values. Say SID dot pass integer. So this is how I'm going to get it. So whatever the value, the string has to be passed into integer, and that's it. And for the date, I need to bring a notice to the date first. So um, the date has to be in my case, the date. In your case, I think there are two fields that you have got. You have got a date, a DAT, and in this first one, it's just a string. So the string, I think there isn't any problem. You can just have it the way you get the value, just a string. But for the if you have a DAT, okay, in it, then you need to handle it accordingly. Otherwise, you won't be able to send the data. Let me just show it to you going over there. Control Oh, and I'll just go into the server and show it to you, connecting it. And let me just remove these things from here, or rather, just take a look at it. Um, at the date of join, you can see the format in which it is written. And since it's working damn too slow and not able to do anything over here, but what I can just show it to you is that um, this is the date, and it has to be sent in this form that you see over here. So I need to copy this thing so that I could exactly make the date look like this. So unfortunately, I'm not able to. Yeah, I copied it, and now um, since you see the date, the way it's written, let me just bring it over there and write it somewhere over here in the commented way. Okay. So, right. So you have to make date like this. So it has got the backward slash and then the exact thing that you need to do. But if you go and check that, if you go and check into the date, then you will see that we are getting the date in a very different way. All right. So we need to change it accordingly so that now it should give us the right date. So two things, get value for S name is not a problem. It is already a string. The currency also is not a problem, but yes, it is a problem because uh, we need to just make scar scur um, scur equals to uppercase. If at all the user has put it in some lowercase, so uppercase, and we need to pass the scar into it. Yes. So this is how we're going to get it. And we'll just look into this part again later. So right now we need the date in this way. Let's go into the code and see what we get exactly as these values. Let's come to this point and let's pass them ID like 31 that we did, and customer is Arun and currency is USD. So lowercase and today's date. Okay. So it's 17. All right. Let's come in and go to the inspect section, come to the sources tab, this thing, and now inside the controller. So we don't see our controller over here. It's only the or do we? The create view controller is over here. Only it only got loaded. Okay, so no problem. We'll just go inside that thing and come to the code that starts at 16. So if I hit on create, it will just gonna hit this thing now. Let me just so hit create, and you see the first ID thing that I'm getting is the ID. Oh, all right, there's the object that I'm getting, no problem. All the objects of all the four input fields, but now it should start getting me the exact things. Dot get value, and you see it is getting me in quotes 31, and I just wanted to change that into integer, and uh, and unfortunately it did not change. That's one big problem over here. And okay, no problem. And then let me just now go and correct the code over here. Uh, do that. So let me just pop the date over here, and the date is 17, and this is 31. Some name and currency, lowercase INR. Just go to inspect and hit create. Come very quickly. I don't need these fields. Okay, this one. So it's getting me the ID in the integer form, and this has to be what it is, a string, but then it has to convert that into uppercase. If you come to the scar, it converts that into INR uppercase. And now you need to get the value for the date. So let's see what we got as a date. So this is what we got as a date as it is Y by Y and MM and the date. So now we have to convert this date exactly as it is that you see over here within the quotes. All right. So how are we going to do that? So this is what we're going to see. So the last thing would be ready now. What exactly this thing is, let me just tell you. This is written in milliseconds. 1/7. It's in trillion. Okay. So if you go ahead and see, it's in trillion, 10 to the power of 12, 1.7 trillion. So it actually calculates the milliseconds that started back in 1970 at exactly UTC 000, 1st January. So up to this time, if I say you, if you start at 12 o'clock midnight UTC, uh, till this time, what we are right now. So how many milliseconds have passed, right? So it will just calculate things, how many hours and days and months and years finally into milliseconds, right? So finally, it has converted that into these many, whatever the milliseconds are. So how can we convert that into milliseconds right now? So first we need to get the date. How can we get the date? Var date. Uh, Um, First need to create an object. Date equals new new date, and there we're going to pass the s date inside it. This is the date we want to pass, and yes, this is what we do in it. Let me just see. And dot get time is the method. Uh, that will get me the time. Get time. Get time for this thing. Okay, so this thing will get the time like this. You see, date. So let me just go into the debugger. What is this 9 over here? As date get time. So if tool is getting me something like this, that means my our things are working. Rest of the things we can concatenate and produce. All right. So let me go to the customer page now and just get rid of this thing and this thing as well. Just very quickly, we'll toss the entries over there. Okay. And we will try to see if we are getting the right dates or not. So there's a problem. Console. Oh, date has okay. Just make it a date because we have somewhere mentioned date. Mm. Now just pass the today's date, that is 17, and the currency INR. and customer name, some name, and the ID 31. Inspect, and let's go create now. So I don't need a debugger over there. I just need to, because we know all the values are quite, working. So we can just hit the play button to come at line number 26, and then we get the value for the date, and we're asking it to convert it. Oops, there's a problem. There is a problem. Just resume the thing. So, all right. So now we can just say get time, and now I'm sure that it will get me the time with the addition of v date over here. And now just remove things from there. Just pass. It will refresh itself. And once the date is ready, our payload is ready. Okay, we need to pass that payload into exact field names, and then our post is done. So just let me just go ahead and make a 17 over here. Come to inspect section, come to the sources tab, and hit create, and it will come to line number 26, get value and get time. And if you come and see, we have got the time in it, right? So now we have to just prepare this thing in a proper way. So yeah, everything is cool now. So we got the time over here, and let me just get this thing next to it so that we can prepare the time. All right, so you just see up to this point, train your eyes up to this point. We have to get it. And this is coming from VDate. And the next part that's there is this thing. So we'll just concatenate it. Okay, so let's do it. Let F date, that's final date that we have prepared, equals the, yes, so one thing, and the plus, and our V date. I've just passed V date. We need to look for something that really defines it. Right now, we are just working on its functionality. So otherwise, it's bouncing now. And the other thing, let's see from here to here. Okay, Control C, paste it inside the quotation. And then we have got the V date. So this is the thing that's coming from this V date. Okay, so we just simply pass the V date. The rest of the things that's there in it, Control C, and paste it inside this. So that once they concatenate it, it will look something like this. All right, all right. So yes, this point is done for all the values are done for us. Now we'll say a let variable that we will call as payload. Let it's not any reserved keyword or anything. Okay, you can just call that as your structure, your data. Okay, so I'll make the payload over here now, because it has to be made in such a way that it should really give me the right values. Over here in the section, it should give me the right field names. Those are there. And the first thing is the ID. So ID is this SID that I want. That was past one. In your case, you will not do that. You will just use this SID that is not reassigned. Because if your ID is integer and not integer, then if your ID is integer, any integer you have got in it, you will just pass that. Okay, then I've got the name. I'll just copy the S name and go for the next field. I'm just doing it right now because I don't know the field names right now. So I'll just go ahead with this thing. And next, I have the third field name, that is date of join or currency. And let's see what we get in the currency. This SCAR, that's the currency I'm going to pass over here. And finally, the date, and that's the final date that we get over here is this. Control C, and Let's come over here with this thing, and my payload is completely ready with the field name still to be attached in it. So, okay, so where are the field names? I'll just go quickly into the metadata section of this and exactly get the field name. So the field name is customer ID. Come over here and place customer ID. Go back, currency, control C, come back and make that as currency. Come back to the metadata and date of join and just pass the date of join in it. And the third one is the customer name, the last one. And this is how the customer name is. So now this payload we have prepared, okay? Uh, although it took some time to do that, but you see our payload is prepared now. If it was simple, it was simply a string, all the four fields were a string. We didn't have to take the pain of creating that into integer or creating that into uppercase or creating that to date format that we need. So that's why we actually messed around so much. Okay. Yeah. So we can even use that as v date over here, and this would reassign itself. So we just uselessly did a f date, final date, put that in our thing. Okay, now so our payload is ready. Let's go back to the main stuff. First step, get the model. We'll get the model. Second step, we have to prepare the entity, and we know what the entity is. It's our entity set name. And the third step is the method, create, right? Let's go ahead and do that now with the first step. Okay, the first step is get the model. Let O model. O model equals this dot. Oh, no. This dot, what is that? How do you catch the things from the model? Get, right? This dot get owner component dot get model. Gets owner component, thank you, in get model. Next step, the entity, let entity equals, I'll just get the name of the entity from the metadata section, and it is a customer entity set. This is what we need. And we're just gonna pass this with a slash entity. So you need to pass the slash, okay? Slash, this is the entity set. And yes, and our payload. See, the payload is ready, the model is ready, the entity is ready. So let's check out. First step, get the model done. We need the entity done. And third step is the method. And how do you get the method? OModel dot create. That's the name of the method. Now pass the entity that we just created, hit enter, pass the payload that we created, hit enter, and then the last thing is the curly brace, and done it. Okay. And inside that, you have got a couple of things that's called as success, and you say function, done it. And you have got the error function, done it. And inside that thing, you're going to say, here you will say error and part it and done. And here you're going to say SAP, not SAP. Message box, okay. Message box dot success, because this is what we got. Success, record, inserted, and copy the same thing. Yesterday, the kid pointed out a very nice thing. He said successfully failed. And that really tickled my mind, the way he said that. Successfully failed. So so I need to just put error over there. and just say failed, just failed. No, I'll just pause because then we have got more things. Record failed. 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 All right, so this is what, and there is still a problem that I can see. I just messed around somewhere. Okay, why is this thing over there? Oh, come on. What is this error all about? There are lots of errors in it. I was so careful in doing that, but you see, what is this thing? Let me show it to you again. So coming to this point where we have just implemented the create method, and here I'm just going to show you with the success and error. I'm going to make an entry into it, so we can just come to this point, the customer details, and let's hit create. Let's hit create, and in that I'm going to say 32. I'll say Arun, and currency that's INR, and the date is 18, and I'll hit create. It did not come with a message right now, but the so yeah, but the data got created. The data got created because the module at the module level, I did not pass this thing that's called as SAP slash M slash message box. So you should be very careful in doing that slash message box. So now you're going to get the message box. Okay, so yes, we can just go ahead and check it. And also come back to this place and just say 33 this time. Customer name. Um, okay, I'll just say Madhav, and currency USD. And this time I expect it to come with a message box, create, and you see record inserted. Okay, but you see, this is a very important point. I want to show you of the callback hell over here. Callback hell over here. Guys, hang on for a second. You'll miss out something. See, after the OK press, what it should do is that I saw the insertion, the records got inserted. The OK should do something. It should just refresh the screen of the newer sets of data that we got, and also clear the data. These kind of things happen after the pop-up has appeared, right? So we need to use the callback after that pop-up, so we don't know when the pop-up is going to come. So when the pop-up comes, then we want to do something. So it's a callback inside a callback. So it's a callback hell we are talking about right now. Okay, let's go ahead and just see if we got Madhav inserted in it or not. So you see at the end, you see Madhav got inserted just today. Okay, so yes, so you saw that how we can just